Hi, good day everyone. So I'm Naomi. I am from BSN3C. This is a case analysis for our NCM 116 lecture. And our chosen case regarding with the or relating to the endocrine system is congenital adrenal hyperplasia. Together with me are my group mates, Mr. Chico, Ms. Calzado, Ms. De Villa, Ms. De Duro, Ms. Angeline Estopen, and Ms. Keisha Dayan. So the congenital adrenal hyperplasia is a genetic disorder that impairs the adrenal gland's ability to produce corticosteroids, leading to hormonal imbalances. The most common form is 21 hydroxylase deficiency, which affects synthesis of cortisol and aldosterone. So if a person has CAH, you have a faulty gene. And that specific gene is CYP21A2. So do not be confused. This is the gene. And this gene has an enzyme. And this enzyme is the 21 hydroxylase. And if you have CAH, you are faulty in this gene, therefore you have 21 hydroxylase deficiency. And this enzyme, 21 hydroxylase, is very important in the biosynthesis or in the production of cortisol or corticosteroids. And let us see what's happening if you have deficiency in this enzyme and faulty gene. Since you have faulty genes, corticosteroids cannot be produced. So, yung low levels of corticosteroids, tinatry niyang i-compensate. So, it will try to compensate. It will work harder. And by working harder, nagkakaroon siya ng hyperplasia or lumalaki siya. Lumalaki yung adrenal gland. So, now let's go on and meet our client or our patient. So, patient CAH, an apparent well 27-year-old phenotypically male adult was seen at the endocrine clinic for gender assignment. Patient had been raised as a male and identifies as such. Abdominal CT scan showed a unilateral left adrenal mass, and karyotyping revealed 46XX female karyotype. She was diagnosed to have simple virilizing CAH and needed thorough counseling with subsequent management by multidisciplinary team. So when we say phenotypically, it is just the physical characteristics. So kapag sinabi nating lalaki, ay may balbas yan, ay malaki yung biceps niya, ay malago yung boses niya. Those are the phenotypical characteristics. So when we say genotype, siya naman yung nag-identify whether we are female or if we are male. So it's just a question of chromosome. Pag sinabi natin female, we have XX chromosome, and if we have male, they have XY chromosome. So going on with the genetics, so since this is congenital, at birth, yung CAH is primarily inherited, an autosomal recessive pattern. So kailangan ang both mother and father has this faulty gene of CYP21A2. So kailangan both mother and father is meron silang faulty gene para maipasa ito sa kanilang offspring. And then we also have different kinds of CAH. There are lots of symptoms for CAH, but let us focus on the symptoms of our patient. So these are the diagnosis methods. CAH is not curable, but this is manageable through these things. Number one, we have hormone replacement therapy. We also have surgical interventions. And we can help support our patient by taking note of this five.
Good morning, everyone. My name is General C. Chico, and today I will be discussing about the interdisciplinary team, which handled the congenital adrenal hyperplasia. First, what is the interdisciplinary team? They are a group of healthcare professionals from different specialties who work collaboratively to provide comprehensive care. By combining expertise from various fields, the team ensures that the patient's medical, psychological, social, and ethical needs are met. Then we have their team members. First is the endocrinologist. They are a medical specialist who diagnoses and treats hormone-related disorders. In this particular case, the endocrinologist confirmed the CAH diagnosis with hormone test. And they also prescribe glucocorticoid therapy to regulate the cortisol levels and manage the patient's androgen imbalance. Then, we have the geneticist. They specialize in genetic disorders and counseling. In this case, the geneticist confirmed the patient's 46XX karyotype and provided crucial insights on the genetic implications of CAH. Then, we have the psychiatrist or the psychologist. They were the ones that provided mental health support to the patient during this time. And they guided the discussions on gender identity and conducted a psychosocial assessment. Their role was pivotal in supporting the patient's emotional well-being. Lalo na po in this particular case po kasi nandito po yung patient kung whether lalaki po ba siya or babae. Then we have the urologist, especially specialist in the urinary tract and reproductive organ. They played a significant role in assessing the patient's adrenal mass and recommended further imaging studies and potential surgical intervention. Moving on, we have the social worker. They were the ones that facilitated the legal documentation for gender assignment and provided resources to assist the patient with societal and family-related challenges. And last but not the least is the primary care physician. They were the ones that ensured comprehensive healthcare supervision, coordinated among specialists, and managed the patient's general well-being, ensuring medication adherence and ongoing care. That is all, thank you. Now moving on to my other team member.
First nursing care plan, we have finalo po namin yung format of ADOPIRE. For the subjective data, we have the patient verbalized noong mag-start po ako ng corticosteroid therapy, napansin kong medyo nataas ang timbang at medyo manas sa pakiramdam. For the objective data, the patient, evidence sa kanya yung pagkakaroon ng fluid retention, increase yung blood glucose, which is 130 mg per deciliter, and also weight gain of 56 kg. For the nursing diagnosis, the imbalanced nutrition, more than body requirements related to corticosteroid therapy, as evidenced by fluid retention and minimal weight gain. And for the outcome, patient will maintain healthy weight and prevent complications associated with corticosteroid use. For the planning naman is after nursing intervention, the patient will, so for the short-term goals, demonstrate understanding of dietary modification that is needed for congenital adrenal hyperplasia management. Then also follow an individualized meal plan with proper macro and micronutrient intake. This is to assess the patient's dietary intake and nutritional status. So this is to identify deficiencies or excess or imbalances in macro and micronutrient intake. And next is to educate the patient on a balanced diet that is tailored with congenital adrenal hyperplasia. So low sodium diet, this reduces yung water intake and marireduce niya din yung risk for hypertension ng patient.
So for the next nursing care plan, for the assessment, we have the subjective data. The patient verbalized, paminsan-minsan wala po akong ganang kumain at matagal ko na po itong tinatago. Patient reports that she often feels tired and lacks the energy to do simple chores. And for the objective data, height 143 cm, weight 42 kilograms, BMI 20.7, classified as underweight, serum level 17, progesterone 60.6, testosterone 7.6, skin is warm but dry to touch, decrease overall body fat but increase muscle mass. For the nursing diagnosis, altered nutritional status related to hyperandrogenism and chronic adrenal gland enlargement. Educate the patient regarding the significance of having calorie-dense foods, for example, avocados, nuts, and whole grains. Next is to monitor the patient's weight and BMI weekly. Encourage the patient to keep a daily food diary and discuss any difficulties with nutrition. Next is to provide reassurance and emotional support by actively listening to the patient's concerns about body image and hormonal changes. Because active listening to patients' concerns creates trust and rapport so that the patient will feel heard and valued. In addition, she would feel more in control and open in discussing the condition and how it affects her life. For the last intervention, offer psychological support and refer for counseling related to body image, concerns, and the emotional impact of CAH.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Isha Jamidayan Dayan, and I'm going to present the patient nutrition and endocrine system. The endocrine system is a network of glands that produce and release hormones into the bloodstream. These hormones regulate various bodily functions, including metabolism, growth, and reproduction. Nutrition plays a crucial role in supporting the endocrine system function, as it provides the building blocks and essential nutrients for hormone production and regulation. The endocrine system. First is the pineal gland, produces melatonin, which regulates sleep cycles. Then hypothalamus controls body temperature, hunger, and hormone release. Then the pituitary gland, it regulates growth, metabolism, and other glands. Next slides, please. Next is the parathyroid glands. It controls calcium levels in the blood. Then the thyroid gland, it regulates metabolism and energy levels. Then the thymus, it supports immune system development. Then the adrenal glands, it produces cortisol, stress response, and aldosterone for blood pressure and androgens for sexual development. Then pancreas, it produces insulin and glucagon. It regulates blood sugar. Then ovaries for females, it produces estrogen and progesterone, regulating reproduction. Then testes for males, it produces testosterone, regulating reproduction and secondary sexual characteristics. Congenital adrenal hyperplasia is a genetic disorders affecting the endocrine system, disrupting the adrenal glands' ability to produce cortisol and aldosterone.
Okay, so good day everyone. I am Altea C. Calzado, and I'll be reporting the dietary recall for CAH patients. So Here, for our breakfast, it is around 7:30 a.m. It is required or preferred to have oatmeal porridge with dates and almonds, which is rich in fiber and for blood sugar stability. We have boiled egg and black tea with no sugar. And for mid-morning snack, around 10 a.m., it is preferred to have whole wheat toast with peanut butter, a banana, which is rich in potassium. And for lunch, 1 p.m., brown rice with grilled chicken breast, which is lean protein, stir-fried spinach with garlic, which is rich in iron, and tempe goreng, lightly fried, and it is rich in protein. Also, plain water. For our afternoon snack, around 4 p.m., Greek yogurt unsweetened with honey, handful of mixed nuts, almonds, walnuts, and cashews. And for our dinner, around 7:30 p.m., it is preferred to have grilled salmon with lemon and herbs, steamed broccoli and carrots, sweet potato mash, complex carbohydrates for sustained energy, warm almond milk with cinnamon. And for last meal, evening snack, around 9:30 p.m., preferred to have hummus with whole wheat crackers and chamomile tea. Ayan. So, ito po yung foods or preferred foods for our CAH patients. So, next is our dietary considerations for our CAH patient. So, here, strengths and balanced protein intake to support adrenal function, complex carbohydrates for sustained energy, and healthy fats, which are the nuts, seeds, fish, to support the metabolism. So, here are the areas for improvement. So, first is to reduce processed foods and excess sugar. So, yung CAH patient po natin can affect metabolism and insulin regulation. So, yung pag-diet po natin sa mga processed foods and sugar could help them na ma-prevent yung obesity and insulin resistance para ma-support po natin yung hormonal or hormone balance ng may mga CAH patients. Next po is to ensure adequate sodium intake if necessary. So, depend po yan sa medical needs. Pero, CAH po kasi can cause low aldosterone levels na nag-lead to sodium imbalance. So, adequate sodium po could help them maintain their blood pressure and fluid balance, especially po during stress or illness. So, next po is to monitor weight and cardiovascular health to prevent complications. Ayan. So, sa hormonal imbalance, in or congenial adrenal hyperplasia, may risk po na mag-increase yung obesity and heart issues nila. So, yung pag-monitor po ng regular sa CAH patients ay makakatulong po na ma-detect or ma-prevent po natin yung complications kagaya ng high blood pressure and metabolic problems. Ayan. So, ito pong diet na to, this dietary recall, food frequency, could help stabilize them or prevent the long-term complications for congenial adrenal hyperplasia. Thank you.
Good day po, my name is Cameron Indivilla and I will be reporting food preferences. Ito po yung mga preference ni patient. Staple food is the food na we regularly consume and form a large part po ng person diet. As prepared po ng patient is rice like nasi lemak, nasi puti, noodles like mee goreng, bread like roti kani and chapati. Protein sources po like fish or ikan bakar and asam pedas, and poultry, eggs, tofu, and tempeh. Sa vegetable is kangkong or water spinach, nasi ulam, cabbage, and okra. Sa fruits, banana, papayas, guavas, durian. Drinks, the tea tarik, yung drink sweet tea and with milk. And then client access to food. Dito po yung economic and affordability factors. As patient po is in the middle income state, allow moderate spending on food, and may limit frequent access to imported and fortified or specialized dietary products, and then availability of food sources. Processed food high in sodium, like instant noodle and chips, are widely available but should be limited for congenital adrenal hyperplasia management. Stock basic staple like rice, oil, eggs, and canned goods. As patient family practice subsistence farming, growing vegetable like kangkong, legumes, and okra, and keeping chickens. Pwede din po makakuha ng fresh fish from rivers and local fisheries. Meron din pong community and religious support. Mosque po and local organizations sometimes provide free and discounted food from food program po during Ramadan and other occasion. And zakat assistance po may be available for those struggling with medical and nutritional expenses. And cultural and religious related to nutrition, halal dietary compliance, because the patient is Malaysian, as Malaysia is a predominantly Muslim country, the patient may adhere to halal diet, avoiding alcohol and certain animal-derived products. And then fasting during Ramadan. If the patient follow Islamic practices, fasting during Ramadan could impact their condition due to the need for regular medication and stable blood sugar levels. And then, traditional food choices. Malaysian cuisine includes rice-based dishes, seafood, and various meats, often cooked with coconut milk and spices. There may be a preference for herbal remedies which could interfere with prescribed medication. If the patient po ay gustong uminom ng medication, pwede pong makapekto ang ibang remedies, herbal remedies, sa cortisol or adrenal function.